Welcome to Unstoppable You Now, where we explore powerful stories of resilience, choices, and the profound lessons hidden in everyday life. In a bustling village nestled between high mountains lived a busy merchant who owned two strong horses named Tick and Tock. These two companions were known for their strength, carrying heavy goods across rugged terrains to distant markets for their wealthy master. While they looked similar in strength, their hearts were different. One was kind and enduring, while the other was often proud. On one particular morning, the sun rose with a harsh glare, signaling a difficult day ahead for the weary merchant's caravan. Tick woke up feeling unusually weak, his legs trembling beneath him, fighting a sickness that had settled deep within his bones. The merchant, focused solely on his profits and schedule, failed to notice the subtle signs of distress in his loyal horse. Heavy sacks of grain and spices were piled high onto their backs, the weight settling down like a crushing stone burden. Tick groaned softly under the immense pressure, his breathing shallow, yet he remained silent, trying to fulfill his duty despite pain. The caravan set off onto the dusty path, leaving the safety of the village for the treacherous, winding roads of mountains. The road was uneven and steep, filled with sharp rocks that dug into their hooves, making every single step a challenge. As the hours passed, Tick began to lag behind, sweat pouring down his flank as his vision started to blur significantly. Tock, on the other hand, walked with a steady rhythm, his load heavy but manageable, ignoring his friend's obvious physical struggle. The distance between them grew slightly, not in miles but in empathy. As the heat of the day became more oppressive, Tick realized he could not make it much longer without assistance, his heart pounding against his ribs like a trapped bird. Gathering his remaining strength, Tick quickened his pace to pull alongside Tock, hoping to find a shred of compassion in him. He whispered softly to his companion, asking if Tock could perhaps carry just one of his sacks to ease the load. "Please, brother," Tick implored with desperate eyes. "If you take a small portion, I might survive this journey. Otherwise, I fall." Tock looked at him with cold indifference, snorting in annoyance that his rhythm was interrupted by such a weak and pathetic request. He believed that everyone must carry their own burden in this life, and saw Tick's sickness as a personal failure, not luck. "Why should I burden myself with your troubles?" Tock replied sharply. "I have my own heavy load to carry to market." Tick tried one last time, explaining that helping him now would ensure they both arrived safely, but his words were ignored. Tock turned his head away, focusing on the path ahead, leaving his suffering friend to battle the overwhelming weight, all alone. The rejection hurt more than the physical pain, as Tick realized he was truly alone in his struggle against the inevitable. The path grew steeper, winding around a dangerous cliffside where one wrong step could send a traveler tumbling into the abyss. Tick's legs finally gave way, his muscles seizing up as the heavy sacks pulled him down toward the unforgiving, hard ground. He stumbled once, recovered, then stumbled again, his breath coming in ragged gasps that echoed loudly against the silent canyon walls. With a heartbreaking sound, Tick collapsed completely, the life fading from his eyes as his exhausted heart finally stopped its beating. The merchant halted the caravan, rushing back in shock, but it was too late to save the loyal and hard-working horse. There was a moment of silence as the merchant mourned the loss of an asset. But business had to continue immediately. The goods could not be left behind on the mountain, for they represented the merchant's entire fortune for the coming season. The merchant looked at the remaining horse, Toke, and realized there was only one way to transport the cargo to town. He began to untie the heavy sacks from Tick's lifeless body, preparing to transfer every single one of them onto Toke. Toke watched with widening eyes as the merchant piled sack after sack onto his back, adding to his already heavy burden. The weight was crushing, forcing Toke's legs to bend, his previous arrogance replaced by the terrifying reality of his new situation. He realized with a sinking heart that if he had helped Tick earlier, he would only be carrying a small fraction. Now he had to carry everything, his own load, Tick's load, and the heavy skin of his fallen friend as well. Every step was pure agony, a physical reminder of his selfishness, burning the lesson of compassion into his very tired muscles. The physical weight was immense, but the guilt of knowing he could have prevented this tragedy weighed even heavier on his soul. They eventually reached the market, but Toke was broken, exhausted beyond measure, forever changed by the consequences of his selfish refusal. We often think that refusing to help others saves us energy, but we fail to see the larger picture of life. When we help others carry their burdens, we are often securing our own future and preventing a much heavier load later. A single sack of kindness shared in the moment can save a life, while a moment of selfishness brings eternal regret. Choose kindness today, for we are all traveling on the same difficult road, and we all need support to survive it. Thank you for watching this story on Unstoppable You Now. Subscribe for more wisdom and share this video to spread kindness.